What's up, everyone? Thomas here with ForReel. And for the fourth year in a row, ForReel is covering the Toronto International Film Festival. This is the 49th edition of the festival, and I've got to tell you, this lineup this year is so unreal. And I cannot wait to bask in the glory of incredible cinema once again in Toronto. So, Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh might live in time, but we live in TIFF. Who is we? Well, let me introduce you to the For Real team who will be covering TIFF and attending the festival for the full duration of the festival. First up, we have one of our members focusing on special presentations and gala films. We have Shawn Peer.
Hello, this is my second year covering TIFF. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see you guys there. I'm excited to see the movies there. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely, Shawn. Good to have you on board.
Thank
Uh,
you.
next up, taking on Midnight Madness horror and genre films, experimental genre films, and covering TIFF for the first time accredited, we have Luca Mehta.
Hello, happy to be going to TIFF for the first time as accredited press, but this will be my third time just going in general. I'm hyped.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you should be. It's gonna be a great time, man.
Yeah.
Ah. And guest writing for us on some of the film's documentary selections, as well as filling in gaps with special presentations and gala and genre film coverage, we have Ethan Dayton.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be part of the ForReel team for the festival this year. It's my second time being at the festival as accredited press. And yeah, just super pumped to be here.
Yes, welcome, Ethan. Good to have you on board as well. And we also have another guest writer with us who has a special interest in international film, and I am so excited to have her on board. We have Vicky Haung.
Hi, I'm so excited to be a part of the For Real team this year. This is my first time attending TIFF, let alone being media accredited. So I'm looking forward to the experience.
Absolutely, Vicky. Looking forward to having you here. It's been great having your articles on the website, and I'm excited for you as well with this festival because you are participating in the Media Inclusion Initiative. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, okay? All right. Let's just get the conversation flowing. Let's start with some icebreaker questions. Luca, I'm going to start with you because you were talking about how you've attended the festival 3 times but this is your first year accredited. But on top of that, you've just kind of had a really adventurous year with For Real. Tell me
Yeah.
about how you feel about this last year as a film critic.
Well, I feel like we should start with the elephant in the room, which was that the writers and actors strike was last year
Yeah,
around this
right.
time. So TIFF was pretty, I don't want to say barren,
Oh, Baron's a good
but
word.
like
Yeah.
yeah, oh man, because like okay, for example, like seeing Hitman without like Glenn Powell there, or like even like going to see Pool Man without Chris Pine there, like that was kind of a bummer.
Mhm.
But like this year, like everybody's back. There's no strikes going on. Everybody's back and ready to like be a part of TIFF. There's no like looming cloud over it. So it's cool to have that, and just I don't know, the whole post TIFF 2023 experience has been kind of a roller coaster. I mean, Sundance was nuts, like still pinching myself over that, but just being at For Real for the past year has really opened a lot of opportunities for me, which has been very surreal. I kind of still don't think it's actually happening, but I'm pretty sure it is happening and it's cool. So I'm happy to be part of the team for a whole year. I think starting now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got you on board right after TIFF last year, so we're coming
Yeah,
up on your 1 year with us, and so thank you. We appreciate all of your contributions over this year.
happy to be here. More than happy.
Yeah, Shawn, you covered TIFF with us accredited last year, and it was an interesting year at TIFF, but it was a good experience for all of us. I'm really curious what you learned from covering TIFF last year and how that's going to impact how you cover TIFF this year.
Oh, that is such an easy answer for me. I know exactly what I learned from last year. By far, the thing that I learned the most from last year is to pace myself and to take it easy. Last year was my first year's press, and all I was hearing was people going to see 4 movies a day. So I thought that's going to be easy. I can do that. It really pushed me to my limits physically, mentally. Yes, it was amazing seeing all these great movies and getting all these great experiences, meeting all these new people, spending as much time down there as possible. But you really have to learn to put yourself first sometimes and learn maybe it's not worth waking up at 6 and then going to bed at 2 a.m. Like, so I've definitely learned to making my schedule this year. I've definitely learned to look at what I'm prioritizing, and as much as it may hurt, what can I maybe leave off for another day, or if it comes out soon enough, I will cover it then, because it's great seeing movies early. It's great seeing stars, seeing premieres, but you have to learn to you have to learn to balance. So I'm definitely going into TIFF with that mindset this time around.
That is really great advice. It was something that I also had to learn at one point.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm going to be making that mistake.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yes, we'll see. But self-care, that is a very important thing to remember in doing these festivals. So good advice, Shawn. I appreciate that. All right, Ethan, you've covered TIFF. I don't know how many years you've covered it, but you've covered it with other outlets before. And so talk to me about that, and also what your favorite thing about covering TIFF is.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing, I also needed to hear that advice. So thank you, Shawn.
Oh, you're welcome.
Desperately.
Nice.
And yeah, so this is my second year covering it as press. I went the year before that. It was also bare a little bit because of COVID, and the year before that was virtual. So, but I wasn't there as press. So last year I was there with that shelf, and it was a great experience. Like Shawn said, a little exhausting. So definitely going to pace myself, but definitely what I noticed my favorite thing to be is the environment, like being surrounded with hundreds of people, audiences, critics, industry members who are just as passionate and engaged with watching films and talking about it, and just seeing that and being around that. It's something you can only experience at a film festival. And those who've been know that. And having one in my home city is I'm unbelievably lucky. So yeah, just being in that environment is amazing. And I can't wait to be back in it and see all of you guys in person.
All of everyone in person. No, it's going to be
everyone.
Great. Yes. Yeah. That's certainly one of my favorite parts too. Over COVID, I made a lot of friends online on Twitter when it was called Twitter. Made a lot of friends online, and once the restrictions started lifting, I started going to these festivals, and these are like my opportunities to get together with my online journalist friends. And so yeah, I love that, and the environment is always great to be a part of. So good answer, Ethan. I think we all look forward to that. Vicky, this is your first TIFF, and congratulations on being accepted into the Media Inclusion Initiative. It's a program that I have also been a part of, that I'm an alum of, and there's so much opportunity with it, and so I'm excited for you to experience that. But in addition to that, like what are you hoping to really get out of attending and covering TIFF?
Yeah, so first thing I'm really looking forward to is, as part of the Media Initiative Inclusion, you get to work with a alumni from the MIA program, and they'll be mentoring you throughout the festival process. So I'm looking forward to gleaning advice from someone that's more experienced in the criticism industry. The second thing I'm really looking forward to is just like throwing myself into the movie Olympics. I know Shawn said to pace yourself, but I'm actually looking forward to pushing myself to my limits and
Nice.
out of this as haggardly as possible.
I think
sometimes it's good to jump in the deep end.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to like bring yourself dry the first time, and then on the second time, you know.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's 100% true.
We have all been there. We have all been there. We get a whole lot of enthusiasm going in, watch everything, and you know, you'll figure out you have a really high capacity for how many films you can watch in a day.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
That's awesome, guys. Well, I'm happy to be talking with you all. We're going to talk about some films and some things that you guys are super excited about. But before we get into that, I'm going to start off with a couple special mentions of films that I want to call out for a particular reason. So the first special mention I want to call out is Oh Canada, will have its North American premiere here at TIFF, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, given the title. And the other one I want to call out is Emilia Perez. It's interesting because I knew it was a high profile film. It's and we'll talk about it a little bit more later on because it's one of your guys' most anticipated. So we'll we'll discuss that a little bit more later on. I'm calling both of these movies out though for a specific reason. That reason is because ForReel has tickets to give away to these premiere screenings. So we will be giving away a pair of tickets to the premiere screening of Emilia Perez on Monday the 12th. And then a pair of tickets to O Canada for that premiere screening on Friday the 13th. So
I'm jealous of whoever wins those.
I know, to be honest, me too, because I don't know if I went to those screenings.
So we're gone immediately, and I'm so
right. But these are great opportunities. I mean, these premiere screenings at TIFF are so fun because the director, the cast are there. They usually have Q&As, and so it's a good opportunity to be in a really electric environment for these screenings. These are sold out screenings, and so lots of energy and yeah, it could be yours. All you have to do is submit your email address and contact information, and there will be a link in the description in order to do that. And it's that simple. We just want to get more subscribers and more people on board with what we do throughout the year. Figure we give away some tickets in order to do that. So yeah, be sure to enter those contests, and the instructions are on the website. Again, the link will be in the description for how you can do that. So there we go. A little fun thing to engage with us during the festival. So let's talk about our most anticipated films. So many things to choose from, and somehow you guys narrowed it down to your top 3. So we're going to talk about those, and we'll do it kind of round robin style. So we'll start with one of you, and then go around for your third most anticipated film, and then go around again for your second most anticipated, and then of course the one movie that you are most excited for at TIFF. So, Shawn, we're going to kick this off with you. What is your number 3 most anticipated film?
My number 3 most anticipated film is Saturday Night. I am very excited about this film. First off, I am a lover of movies that recount real life events. I love seeing the build up to whatever is going on. People playing real life people. I know it may seem like a cheap way to win an Oscar to get people invested in a movie, but I'm a sucker for it. I don't know what to say. I watched Saturday Night Live. I think Saturday Night Live has been around since all of us have been alive. So for something to see a recount of something that's still present today is just fascinating. And Saturday Night Live is a pillar in the entertainment industry and history. And I'm just very, very interested in seeing any recount of how it came to be, because it's such an interesting show, how they make it every week, every year, the people that they get on. So I'm very excited to learn about that. I also think Jason Reitman is a fantastic filmmaker. I've seen some, you've seen him do stuff like Juno, Up in the Air, and I just think he's a very energetic filmmaker. He's never phoning it in. I feel like he always gets big stars, and they're always doing great things. They're always they're committed 1,000% to what they're doing, and they're high energy, they're high paced. And if the trailer tells us anything, it's not going to be any different with this one. And the cast, I mean, Gabriel LaBelle, just fresh off of The Fabelmans, Rachel Sennett, Lamar Morris, cousin Greg from Succession. It's a great cast. It's a stacked cast, and I have no doubt that there's a good chance they're gonna get a SAG nomination. Hopefully, I think it has a really good chance of getting the People's Choice at TIFF, because again, real life event, real people. It's gonna be a crowd pleaser. I think it's gonna be a very fun movie. So I'm very, very excited for that. Yeah,
lots of excitement there for sure. Is Saturday Night on anyone else's radar?
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it for a while, probably just because I've been waiting for Gabriel LaBelle to be employed since The Fabelmans.
Yeah,
so this is my vindicating moment right here.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I attended the world premiere of The Fabelmans, and so it was kind of cool to see this all-star lineup of actors on the Q&A, and then Gabriel LaBelle. But what's really cool about that is that he really fits in, and I think The Fabelmans was a great example of like how this kind of younger actor can just really blend into such a all-star cast, and so that makes me really excited for what he's going to do in this ensemble. Yeah, any other thoughts on Saturday Night?
Rachel Sennett. That's it.
Yeah.
Yup.
That's the only thought. I will be there.
For sure. So all right, Luca, let's move on to you. What's your number 3 most anticipated film?
So my number 3 is, well, on the topic of comedy shows, I've been watching a lot of I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson,
Yes.
and I think that it's some of the funniest stuff I've seen in a while. And so, of course, like when I just get started watching the show, they announced a Tim Robinson movie coming to TIFF just by coincidence. So of course I'm seeing that, and then they say that Paul Rudd's going to be in it. And, like, they've already sold it, but they just keep selling. I think Tim Robinson is probably one of the funniest people to come out like in the last like 4 or 5 years, and I think it's cool that like he's finally getting like his like big screen debut. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be a riot. It's going to go crazy with the midnight crowd, hopefully. And yeah, I'm just expecting something funny and stupid, and that's all I need.
Yep, that's a good standard to have here. Anyone else have Friendship on their to watch list?
Yeah.
Midnight Madness tickets booked and ready to go. It's the
Nice.
one movie I tried to get Substance, but I couldn't. So
Substance
and
is
Friendship
hard.
was my like second most anticipated, and I'm so glad I'm gonna get to see that with a midnight crowd, especially with what they did with Dix last year, the musical, and just the choir coming out and performing. And I'm like, I don't know if we will, but I hope we get something fun for a comedy like that for Friendship. It'll be a great experience, I think, at the festival.
Man,
Yeah,
one of
big
these
fan
years,
of I Think You Should Leave as well. Yeah.
one of these years I need to get to a midnight screening. I just
Yes.
have not had the bandwidth yet, and I don't know. There is one movie that I might think about it. Like it's maybe. All right, good selection there, Ethan. What's your number 3?
Okay, so this is one that I don't know what it is. No one's talking about it. I feel like there's some pointed. I felt like His Three Daughters also last year didn't get as much buzz as I wanted to, but it's The Assessment with Elizabeth Olsen, Alicia Vikander. It's a sci-fi social commentary, kind of stripped down futuristic movie. So listen, I get it, that can be hit or miss, but it's got Alicia Vikander and Elizabeth Olsen. So I think that's all you need to know. And I don't know. And Hamish Patel, who's also great. Loved him in Midnight Mass. I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan, which will come back later. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see anyone talking about it. I'm super pumped. It's the one kind of premiere ticket I got just at the chance of seeing Elizabeth Olsen. Huge Wanda fan. We need a Scarlet Witch movie. And yeah, I'm super pumped for that. His Three Daughters was my favorite movie out of the festival last year. There's always that one that just like connects with me, and that was it. So I don't know if this will be the one that is like my standout, but it's a contender, so that's why it's my number 3.
That's excellent. Good choice here. Anyone else have The Assessment on their radar?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is now.
Yeah. This
Nice.
is why we do this.
Spreading the word.
Yeah, no, Elizabeth Olsen continues to be one of the most underrated actresses working today, in my opinion. I think she always is in good stuff, and even if the project itself is not up to expectations, she never like fails. She always brings her A game, and she's great. And like Ethan said, if she's in something, I'm gonna see it.
Absolutely. Good
Puts her
feedback there.
all into everything she does.
I love having actors like that. I know there's a couple
Great
at the
feeling.
festival that I'm like, I don't care what project it is, I will be going to see it.
Yep.
So yeah, all right, Vicky, what is your number 3 film?
My number 3 film is an unfinished film by Luo Yi. Luo Yi is a Chinese director who is deeply political and always finds ways to subvert the censorship system that's in China. His 2006 film Summer Palace, it was about Tiananmen, and it ended up getting banned, but was a very, very seminal film in Chinese filmmaking. What I like about this film is that it starts off originally it was going to be like a fiction film, but then because of COVID happened in the middle of filming, and so they had to kind of change directions and improvise a lot, and so the script takes an entirely different direction. The format of the film also adapts to these changing material conditions because they couldn't be in the same room, and so there's a lot of like Zoom calls or like Weixin calls in the Chinese context that happens. And so I find that hybrid format very interesting. I, yeah, and so that's why I'm looking forward to an unfinished film.
I'm happy you chose this one because it's on my radar. I've heard buzz about it, but I didn't know anything about it. It just is one of those that's like, oh, people are talking, but what are they talking about? And so this is great to know. I think that we had an era of COVID films where there was just a lot of them because it was relevant, right? But I think now if you're going to make a COVID film, it has to be something unique, and that sounds like what this is. And I'm trying desperately now to find a time to get this into my schedule. Anyone else? Yeah, anyone else have an unfinished film on their radar?
Well,
I
I
do now,
did because
yeah.
I saw the trailer because I was just scrolling through it, but there weren't any subtitles, so I didn't understand what was happening. But like I could like tell through bits and pieces that it was like pandemic related. But now that I've gotten the full synopsis, it makes a much clearer image in my head, and I really want to see it much more now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely one I was interested in covering. Is like I love documentaries, and I think now that some time has passed from COVID, I'm like, okay, I can sit in front of a COVID movie again, and it won't feel as like traumatic. But so I'm excited to see this one too.
Awesome, great choice, Vicky. I really appreciate you having this one on your list. All right, round 2. Don, we're coming back around to you. What is your number 2 most anticipated film?
My number 2 pick is The Piano Lesson. I am very excited about this movie. This is a adaptation of the famous August Wilson play. Other famous August Wilson plays that have been adapted into movies in the past couple of years have been Fences and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Both of those have been major Oscar contenders. So if the trend is continuing, then this is going to be a big one. So I really want to get on top of this. The cast is just like Saturday Night is very, very good. You got Samuel L. Jackson, who, for people that have been seeing this movie, are saying incredible things about. John David Washington, I think, is a very, very good actor, and I'm very excited to see what he does in a role like this, because I think it's something very different that he's done. He does a lot of action stuff. This looks like one of his first straight dramas, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm hearing that Danielle Deadwyler is a standout in this movie, and as someone who was a big advocate for her a couple of years ago in Till, I'm really hoping that this is her shot at redemption, or at least the Academy's shot at redeeming her, because she is a phenomenal actress, and I have no doubt she's going to give an incredible performance, and I hope that she gets the recognition she deserves. So I'm very excited to see this because I'm also a big theater guy. So, and August Wilson's work is great. It's Pulitzer Prize winning work. So overall, I'm very, very excited to see what this cast does, what they do with this material. Yeah. Very
cool. Yeah, this is a big one. This is the international premiere because I believe it's premiering at Venice. Is that what's happening? So yeah, this is one that a lot of people have their eye on. Does anyone else have The Piano Lesson on their radar?
Yeah, I mean, it first came on my radar because I was looking up who the director was, and it turns out that it's one of Denzel's other sons. And I was like, oh, they're keeping the August Wilson tradition going because Denzel did Fences.
Right.
So now we have Malcolm doing The Piano Lesson. And plus, again, I've heard a lot of the buzz, and I mean, I've never heard of an easier lock for supporting actor than Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. Like, I'd be genuinely shocked if like he doesn't get like awards buzz for this. Like, no brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's overdue, so now's the time. If anything,
it is true. I had my reservations about this because I was wondering if this is getting so much buzz just because it's big names, and there are trends here that that you can kind of follow and have high hopes for. But I do think that obviously Malcolm Washington is in good company, right? With his dad having done Fences. I think that he this is his directorial debut, and that would usually make me nervous that a celebrity or someone of celebrity status has the directorial debut and everyone's buzzed about it. That would usually be cause for pause for me, but I think that he's in good company, and I think that he has a lot of great support who have this experience with this kind of material, and I don't think that they were going to let him fail. And so I'm now super excited for this one. All right, let's go to Luca. What is your number 2 most anticipated film?
So my number 2 is an action film by Timo Tjahjanto, an Indonesian action filmmaker, who's kind of like the other side of the coin from Gareth Evans, who did The Raid. Timo Tjahjanto is kind of crazy. So if you've seen his Netflix movie, The Night Comes for Us, that movie, the last fight of that movie basically ends with a box cutter and a wood chip. So it gets disgusting. And to know that this movie, The Shadow Strays, is going to be a whole half hour longer, and it's going to like even out at 2.5 hours, and it's so long that we have to start Midnight Madness early, that's got me super intrigued. And plus, like the synopsis said like that the main character was like a master in the art of fucking your shit up, and I'm like, I'm already there.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is another one a lot of people are buzzing about. Is it on anyone else's radar?
Now.
Yeah.
I love a good
You
action
told it
movie.
very well.
People
fucking shit up.
Right, I know Peter Kuplowski likes his violent horror films. We had A Violent Nature last year, and Boy Kills World.
Right.
These hyper violent Midnight Madness films, and so I think that Peter programming Midnight Madness is going to keep that a part of the programming, and he's really great at picking good stuff, and this must be great. So I'm also trying to fit this into my schedule as well. So
Yeah. In Kuplowski screening notes, he compared it to John Woo's Hard Boiled, and that's a film actually Luca and I went to see together. So if it's comparable in any way, I'm really interested.
very cool. Yeah. Lots of great things to look forward to with that one. So good pick there. All right, Ethan, it's coming around to you. What's your number 2 most anticipated film?
All right, I hinted at it earlier, and it is Mike Flanagan's The Life of Chuck. I am super excited to see this. I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan. I caught a glimpse of him yesterday at Fan Expo, and I was just like, I want to come talk to you, but I can't pay for it. So I'm going to walk away. But I'll sneak a picture. And I'm super pumped. It's a very big, it's based on a Stephen King novella, I think. I don't know about a full novel. Yeah. So it's still, I'm sure, going to have some elements that Mike Flanagan's used to working with in terms of the horror and kind of eeriness, but it is more of like a drama, I think, which is, Mike Flanagan's always had more understated, reserved horror, which is what I love. That's more about it's his characters, and it's more methodical. The Haunting of Hill House is one of my favorite TV shows, limited series, if not my favorite. Victoria Pedretti is amazing. I'm still waiting for them to work together again. And the cast, incredible. Yeah, I'm super pumped for this one. Just for anyone who doesn't know what it's about an accountant whose like life is unraveling backwards or something. I don't want to know too many details, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see what Mike Flanagan can do with that and without some of the horror stuff that he's used to working with. I want to see him in a different genre. So yeah, huge one on my list.
Very cool. Yeah, this was one of the early announcements from TIFF when they first announced like their early announcements for world premieres. This was on the list, and I saw Mike Flanagan and was instantly interested. Who else has this on their radar?
This has been on my radar for a while, and I read the short story on Friday, and I finished it like front to back, complete page turner. it's probably one of the best Stephen King things I've ever read.
No way.
And
Adding it to my reading list right now.
I love it because I was thinking about the way that Mike Flanagan would do it. And I was so enthused by it because of how much of a hard turn it is for Flanagan. I mean, like, because without saying too much, it's a very happy short story. It's a very like sweet short story. And Mike is used to a lot of like, I mean, his trademark is kind of dark, messed up stuff.
Death and depression.
Yep. So for him to take like such a radical turn for Life of Chuck has me completely invested because I want to see Mike Flanagan kind of like break out of like kind of like a one-trick pony type of chain. Because like he's not a one-trick pony, but like he's definitely been getting kind of a rap like that for just doing like spooky ghost stuff. Ooh. Yeah. But
with great dialogue that is a little overwritten. I love you, Mike, but
I feel like this is going to be something that changes people's minds on Mike Flanagan.
I'm stoked about.
Yes.
Keep boarding the Mike Flanagan train. As many passengers as we can get on it. I'm happy.
Stars Tom Hiddleston too, right? So
yeah,
see what he does with that. Always great stuff from him. So yeah,
Netflix has a stacked movie list this year. Yeah. That's Netflix. We were Piano Lesson, Emilia Perez, Night Bitch. It's crazy.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna go on to Vicky. All right, what is your number 2 most anticipated selection at TIFF?
It's Scenarios by Godard. It's Godard's very last film. And it was made literally the day before he entered his voluntary death. And it's just a kind of collage of him reflecting on his memories in cinema and politics. Godard is a really formative filmmaker for me, especially his work in his like more Maoist and communist years. So I'm very much looking forward to this. It's going to be very meaningful for me.
This is an interesting selection because it's an 18-minute short, correct?
Yeah, it's a short. It's part of the Wavefront series, which is like the avant-garde shorts kind of programming that they have at TIFF. It's going to be following Scenarios. I think they're also going to be showing a documentary about the process of it being made. So I'm very eager to see the two.
Yeah, that's great. It's it only has, because this Wavelengths program only has one time to see it, right? I have Sunday, September 8th at 6 p.m. at TIFF Lightbox. That is your chance to see this film.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the final round. We are going to talk about your most anticipated film. Again, 278 films, and you guys narrowed it down to this selection of films. And honestly, just looking at my notes, we have some bangers here. So let's come back around to Shawn. What is your most anticipated film at TIFF?
My most anticipated film at TIFF is going to be the Palme d'Or winner of 2024, ANORA. I'm very, very excited for ANORA. It was not on my radar before its big win at Cannes, and I'm mad at myself for not being on top of that because Sean Baker, even before this movie, has been such an incredible filmmaker to watch evolve over this past decade, starting with Tangerine, Florida Project, Red Rocket. He is doing all these great things, but they're also so different. He's so diverse in his filmmaking. So even having seen his previous work, I don't know what to expect with this. So that's very, very exciting. And Mikey Madison, who has been such a great up-and-comer actress to see in stuff like Scream and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's so expressive, and from the few screenshots I've seen from the trailer and photos alone, I know she's going to give an incredible performance, and I just can't wait to see what this movie brings because it seems like such a authentic story and it looks personal in some ways. So I'm very, very excited to see what Sean Baker brings with this movie. Very, very excited. It's been on my radar for months.
This, I want to go into this movie knowing as little about it as possible. I went to see
Same.
another film a couple weeks ago, and this trailer played, and I walked out of the theater because I did not
Yeah.
want to watch the trailer yet. I just want to watch the movie. And I, what you're saying about Sean Baker and his evolution over the past decade is entirely right. He's been putting out these bold but also really entertaining kind of films, and it's been really cool to kind of see his career develop into becoming a Palme d'Or winner,
Yeah.
which I can only imagine is just going to propel his career even more after this. So I think he was, I mean, I haven't seen the film yet, but I think he's a very deserving winner of that at Cannes. And obviously that's already having its effect because it is so hard to get tickets to this movie at TIFF.
Yeah.
Who else wants to talk about ANORA?
Shawn, I'm glad that you mentioned Once Upon a Time in Hollywood here, because that was my first introduction to Mikey Madison when she quite literally, I mean, like, just exploded onto the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, still one of the most memorable moments in film history for me is when Leo like just lights her on fire.
Great.
But even then, before that, like I just found her whole like weird, like kind of like turbo Mansonite bit so funny.
Yeah.
And then she kind of dropped off the map for a few years because that was in 2019. And then she comes back in Scream to play the villain in 2022. And then I'm like, there she is again. She's great. And then she kind of disappears for the next 2 years. And suddenly we're back with ANORA. And so I'm happy to see her back. I mean, I'm basically seeing this just for her alone, but hey, I'll see a new Sean Baker movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on ANORA?
Yeah, it's I'm excited to see her outside of just that GIF of her in Scream. Pulling the guns.
Yeah.
Let's get a new GIF for her.
That's funny. All right, moving on down the line. Luca, what is your most anticipated film at TIFF?
So following the Cannes hype, my most anticipated film of the festival is Coralie Farge's The Substance. I have no idea what I'm getting into, other than that this is I think this is like a body horror satire of beauty and the cosmetics industry and just the idea of beauty in our cultural landscape. And it stars Demi Moore, who I also haven't seen in a while, and Margaret Qualley, who I've been seeing a lot recently. And I think that's going to be really cool all on its own, just because those are two actors who I want to see more from. And plus, Coralie Farge is crazy. I really like her previous film, the TIFF darling Revenge, which is it's a rape revenge story about a girl who's left for dead in the desert, only to find a really big shotgun. And the rest is kind of, I mean, you can fill in the blanks from there. But she instantly became a favorite of mine with that. Just bloody, disgusting movie. And I hope she continues the trend with, I mean, once we're going to body horror, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Who else?
So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun midnight crowd.
Yeah. Who else has
The
The
one
Substance?
I wish I got that ticket. I'm still trying for it. I'm not giving up hope because like I know it comes out 10 days later, but that's just to show you what an experience everyone thinks it will be at the Midnight Madness. And so I want to see that with a crowd, and I really hope I do, because it won't be the same.
I've been running out of the theater when the trailer's been playing too. I cannot see a single frame of this.
Yeah. I saw about 30 seconds of the trailer and then it was too much. I turned it off. I was like, I can't see anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are really brave for taking on a 2.5-hour film at the Midnight Madness.
2.5-hour films. The Substance and The Shadow Strays.
Yeah, that's insane. You'll just be nocturnal creatures, I guess.
Lots of coffee. Lots of coffee.
Experience.
I'm sure that's that is a lot, but yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this. I probably won't get to it at TIFF because I cannot do 2.5 hours at midnight. So I'm gonna leave that to you younglings who can handle that. But yeah, there is a lot of hype around this one, and I'm excited to see it probably when it comes out in theaters. But I'm really stoked that you guys are this enthusiastic about it and are going to try to get to that Midnight Madness screening, and hopefully we can make that happen for you. All right. Going on down the line, Ethan, what is your number one most anticipated film at TIFF?
Yes, we talked about it a bit earlier. Thomas already sold it. It's Emilia Perez. It's gonna be incredible. It premiered at Cannes, and it didn't win the Palme d'Or. That was ANORA, but it was competing. And I think that Jacques, help me out, Luca.
Jacques Audiard.
Audiard, he won, I think, in 2015 for one of his other films. So he's got that kind of vibe, and I'm ready for style. I'm ready for a musical that's a crime comedy. Like, what more do you need to know? I feel like the visuals are going to be great. If the music is great, I'm sold. And Zoe Saldana in a musical, I've seen some of the shots of her. It looks fantastic. I want to know how the comedy angle plays into it. I'm really interested in that. And listen, I'm a big Selena Gomez fan. I grew up with her, and I'm excited to see her in a movie again on the big screen. I love Only Murders in the Building, and I think
the Dead Don't Die. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that was a comedy, kind of. It was,
yes, it was like a dark comedy.
Yeah,
yeah, that was good too. Like, yeah, I'm excited. Not a great movie, but Spring Breakers also. That was a wild experience. I saw that with my mom.
Oh boy.
And that was in theaters. That was horrifying. Just because I was too young and really wanted to go support Selena Gomez in the theater. It was like, Mom, take me to see Selena Gomez's new movie. And I was with a friend. The effort was there. I was sitting there and I was like, can this just be over now? Yeah, so not gonna go see this one with my mom, but I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Who else has Emilia Perez on your radar?
Yeah, me. I mean, I'm a big musical fan as well, and what really attracted me to this movie is at Cannes when all four ladies won Best Actress.
I forgot
that was crazy. And Selena Gomez, Emilia doesn't get a lot of credit for her acting. Not that she's bad in the slightest, but it just objectively is something that people overlook with her. So the fact that the Cannes jury awarded her Best Actress, I mean, amongst other ladies, but to give her Best Actress, that just instantly shot on my radar. I'm like, what is Selena Gomez doing in this movie where she's an award-winning actress? Because that's a side of her I've never seen before personally. So I'm very, very interested to see that.
Any other thoughts on Emilia Perez?
Yeah, I mean, all of it kind of boils down to the premise, a crime comedy about two people. I'm not sure if they're lawyers or not, maybe like fixers or something, but they're trying to help a mob boss transition. And if the musical aspect didn't hook you, if all four actresses winning Best Actress at Cannes didn't hook you, if the blend of genres didn't hook you, I feel like the angle of queerness as well is just so fascinating, and it's opened so many avenues for what they could be doing, but also social pressures. Because if we're dealing with Latino communities, they are not. I mean, they're not as receptive to LGBTQ stuff as other communities are. You know, so there's a lot of social dilemma going on under the surface, and I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I didn't even know any of those other layers because I didn't even know what it was about other than the genre. So now I'm even extra excited. There's so much more on top of it. What a premise.
That's a great insight. And once again, a pair of tickets could be yours, viewers, if you sign up for our newsletter. So cool. All right. Yeah, I'm hearing with this one, Carla Sofia Gascon, I'm hearing really, really great things about her performance. And again, kind of like the same, just like being a part of this ensemble and obviously everyone winning at Cannes, this just sounds like, it just sounds like a really great project, and I can't wait to see it. So it is absolutely on my schedule. Not the premiere screening, but I will be I'll be seeing it probably that second weekend. So
still hoping a miracle comes through with that premiere screening.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you, man. Fingers crossed. All right, guys, we're bringing it home. Vicky, what is your number one most anticipated film here at TIFF?
It's another Palme d'Or competitor. It's Caught by the Tides by Jia Zhengke. So the film itself is a loose sequel of Jia's earlier 2001 film Unknown Pleasures, and it's basically about a bunch of like feckless teenagers learning to navigate China in the midst of transitioning under neoliberalism. And so this film situates that cast in a contemporary context. It traces the relationship of the characters in the 2000s when China has kind of become such an economic superpower. And it also is kind of has a COVID intervention as well, where the characters reunite amidst that setting. And so I'm very interested because Unknown Pleasures was, again, one of my top films all time. So I love the fact that he's continuing these characters that I've developed such a fondness for. Jia is also like a director that I've been, keeping my eye on for a while. He makes these beautiful like ethnographic films. There are some gorgeous landscape shots in all of his films. He's also, I think, the ultimate wife guy because, like Haung, all of his films star his wife Cao Cao. So yeah, overall, just like brimming with excitement.
That's awesome. This one is on my radar because you're selecting it again. You're just picking things that I am now interested in because you're picking them. So, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting one, maybe even an under the radar gem that people don't expect or have no expectations for, and then find it to be really, really good. So I'm happy that you picked this out. It's another one with very limited screenings, so I tend to pay attention to those. I don't know why, but it seems like there's the limited opportunity to see it just makes it something that I feel like I should get around to, right, and try to make the effort for. So any other thoughts on Caught by the Tides?
I mean, well, that was the first time I heard of it, but now it's on the radar. And I
Yeah.
actually want to watch I don't remember what the title was, sorry Vicky, but the prequel, I guess, from 2001. That seems like it would be really up my alley too. So I'll check out this director in the future. It seems interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, great selections here. I'm happy that these are the movies you guys chose to share. And we have a wild TIFF experience coming up, and it's gonna be a crazy time, but it's gonna be awesome. And I'm happy that you're all on board. So just kind of thinking about a wild TIFF experience and maybe something wild happening. Let's say, as an exit question, let's say you're walking down the street at TIFF and you happen to run into a celebrity. What celebrity would you want that to be? Shawn, let's start with you.
Oh God. Well, that's a great question because, like we said before, there's going to be so many big names at the festival this year. So to really get it down to one is hard. But I have to say, from one of my picks, if I saw Samuel L. Jackson walking across the street, I would my body would freeze. Like I wouldn't know how to react. Um, he's he's been around for decades. Some of the most iconic performances of all time and some of the most iconic movies of all time. He seems like a very laid back, chill guy that's just living his best life, and he's a badass. So it would be unreal to see him anywhere in my vicinity.
Yes, if I ever encountered Samuel L. Jackson, I hope he calls me a motherfucker.
Yes.
Exactly. I was gonna
Be
say that.
honored.
Oh my God, yes.
I would faint. Like that would be a great moment. Good choice there. Luca, if you were to happen to run into a celebrity at TIFF, who would you want that celebrity to be?
Well, you stole the motherfucker line from me because I was gonna say that. Um, that's a good. All right, I'm gonna go with three, but for specific things.
Okay.
So if I were to find somebody on the street, just in general, I feel like the most chill person to talk to would be Andrew Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
Good choice.
However, I need Amy Adams to know how much of a soldier I am for her. I've been waiting for that Oscar since Arrival. She hasn't gotten it yet. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Night Bitch is the one. We'll see. But she needs to know that she still has shooters out there. Um, and I guess just for fun, John Lithgow after Conclave.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like a chill dude.
That's awesome. Great selections there. Ethan, if you would run into a celebrity, who would you want it to
Yeah.
be?
Elizabeth Olsen. I'm gonna do it just so I
Yes.
can praise her and just talk to her and just so she knows I exist. That and then, but I do have another answer, and it would actually be Will Ferrell, because who's gonna be there for the Will and Harper documentary, because I've met sort of John C. Reilly, and I want to be able to say I've met both stepbrothers. So that is my pick.
Love it. Great choices. Vicky, if you were to run into a celebrity, who would you want it to be?
Kate Blanchett.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
I just saw rumors for
Yes.
early pre-screening, and although I didn't really like the film, she's amazing in it. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, so good.
I feel like I would disintegrate under her gaze. And you know what? I welcome that.
Absolutely. You should try to pursue that in conversation with Kate Blanchett. She has one of those, right? I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah.
one for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should pursue that, because I did that. I usually don't go to the in conversations. I mean, I'm there for films, and it's hard to take too much time out for the conversation part of it. But I did go last year for Guillermo del Toro. And that was a great time. Just, it's such an authentic and organic environment, and they talk so openly about whatever they're there to talk about, and it just felt so intimate. And so I probably can't do it this year, but if you can get into the in conversation with Kate Blanchett, that I think that would be a very special experience for you.
Oh, I absolutely am gonna try.
You
Good
put it
pick.
out in the
Yeah.
universe. So
Putting all of these requests out to the universe.
Manifestation.
yeah, they'll happen. We're gonna manifest.
Yes, all of us are going to meet all of our idols this year at
Yeah.
TIFF. It's going to be great. All right. Well, we're going to bring this conversation to a close. Once again, TIFF is happening from September 5th to September 15th in Toronto, downtown. And it's going to be a great time. And before we go, I want to encourage everyone to connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links will be in below. I'm not going to say all those links right now, but they'll be in the description. And you can also find ways to connect with these wonderful writers and content creators who are going to be covering TIFF. I strongly suggest following them and following us, so that you can have all of the insight on what we're covering at TIFF and what we're doing. So we appreciate you checking in and giving this a watch. And if you're in Toronto, be sure to say hi. Otherwise, connect with us. We have free tickets to give away. All right. So team, thank you again for jumping onto this call, and I look forward to seeing you all in Toronto. It's going to be awesome. And for everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.